पादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले मते भक्तान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So in our last session, we discussed the first verse from the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. That was the only verse which was spoken by Dhritarashtra. जो धृतराष्ट्र ने बोला था वो एक ही वर्स है जो कि फर्स्ट वर्स है that we discussed in the first session, this previous session, and he was asking Sanjay about the what is happening in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, whether son of Pandu and Kauravas, they are ready to fight or what is going on. Like that he was asking. So we'll start with today's verses. Today's verse, all of you can join me in chanting. Sanjay Uvacha Drishtva tu Panduvanikam Duryodhana Duryodhanastada Acharya Upasangamya Raja Vachnam Abravit. Anyone would like to chant? कोई रिपीट करना चाहेगा, चैंट करना चाहेगा? हरे कृष्णा, आई एम ऑडिबल? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Ramji, yes, you are audible.
Yes, so anyone would like to chant? Okay, so we'll move forward. Translation. Sanjay said, O king, after looking over the army gathered by the son of Pandu, King Duryodhana went to his teacher and began to speak the following words. Next verse is, I'll chant myself. Pashyetam Pandu Putranam Acharya Mahitam Chumum Yuddham Draupada Putrena Tava Shishyena Dhimataha. O my teacher, behold the great army of the sons of Pandu, so expertly arranged by your intelligent disciple, the son of Drupada. Atra Sura Mahesh Asha Bhima Arjuna Samayudhi Yuddhano Viratascha Draupadascha Maharatha. Here in this army there are many heroic bowmen equal in fighting to Bhima and Arjuna. There are also great fighters like Yuddhana, Virata, and Drupada. Tatra Drashtaketu Chikitana Kashirajascha Viryavan Purujit Kunti Bhojascha Shebhascha Narapungavaha. There are also great, heroic, powerful fighters like Drishtaketu, Chiketina, Kashiraja, Purujit, Kunti Bhoja, and Shebhya. युद्धमान्योश्च विक्रांता उत्तमोजश्च वीर्यवान् सुभद्रो द्रौपदेयश्च सर्व एव महारथः. There are mighty Yuddhamanyu, the very powerful Uttamoja, the son of Subhadra, and the sons of Draupadi. All these warriors are great chariot fighters. Asmakam tu vishishta ye tani bodha divijottama nayaka mam sanyasya samagnartham tam bravimite. Best of the Brahmanas, for your information, let me tell you about the captains who are especially qualified to lead my military force. Bhavan Bhishmascha Karnascha Kripascha Samitim Jaya Ashwathama Vikarnascha Somadattastateva cha. They are personalities like yourself, Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Ashwathama, Vikarna, and sons of Somadatta called Bhurishrava, who are always victorious in battle. Next verse, Anyecha Bhavasura Madarthe Takta Jivitaha Nana Shastra Praharnaha Sarve Yuddha Visharadaha. There are many other heroes who are prepared to lay down their lives for my sake. All of them are well equipped with different kinds of weapons and all are experienced in military science. अपर्याप्तं तद् अस्माकं बलं भीष्माभिरक्षितं पर्याप्तं त्वम् इदम् एतेषां बलम् भीमारक्षितम्. Our strength is immeasurable and we are perfectly protected by grandfather Bhishma, whereas strength of Pandavas carefully protected by Bhima is limited. Next verse. अन्येषु च सर्वेषु यथा भागमवस्थितः भीष्मम् एव विरक्षन्तु भवन्तः सर्व एव हि. Now all of you must give full support to grandfather Bhishma, standing at your respective strategic points in the phalanx of the army. So these are the 11 verse. Till 11 verse we have chanted. Now in the first verse, that is second verse, today's first verse, second verse, there is very important thing which Prabhupada has highlighted in the purport. That is, Dhritarashtra was blind. He was blind physically as well as he was blind materially, spiritually. How he was blind physically, as all of us we know, he was born as blind. How he was blind spiritually, which is very important to understand. In the first verse, he was asking, is there any influence, Dharmashetra, Kurukshetra, on this battlefield of Kurukshetra, which is Dharmashetra, is there any influence on the both of the parties, Pandavas and Kauravas, both of them assembled? He was very well aware that these Kauravas are not righteous, they are not virtuous as Pandavas. Pandavas, they are very pious. So he was very well aware that they are not virtuous and righteous, these Kauravas. Still, he was giving his support to his son, which are Kauravas, and wanted they should take part in this battle and get victorious. He supported his dishonest sons, which cheated these Pandavas, which created disturbance for the Pandavas. But still, he was supporting them. He was supporting which is not right, which is not morally as well as spiritually is not right. That's why the Dhritarashtra has been addressed as a blind both spiritually as well as physically. And very important point, this Sanjaya, he is assuring the Dhritarashtra that your sons are going to fight. Your sons are going to fight. Because first question, as the Dhritarashtra, he asked, Kim Akurvata Sanjaya, what they are going to do. So Sanjay, he is assuring them. How he is assuring them? He is assuring the Dhritarashtra by addressing, especially by addressing Duryodhana as a Raja. He is telling Raja Vachnam Abravit. Raja Vachnam Abravit. Let me share this here. What he is telling? Raja Vachnam Abravit. He is addressing Duryodhana as a king. What he is telling? He is telling King Duryodhana went to his teacher and began to speak as follows. So he is addressing King Duryodhana as a king to encourage Dhritarashtra, even though Duryodhana has not become a king. He is not king. Still war is going on. But he addressed him as a king just to encourage Dhritarashtra. And to whom Duryodhana has approached? Duryodhana has approached to Dronacharya, his master. And what he is saying? He is telling, he is very, Duryodhana is very diplomat person. He uses that diplomacy in his wordings, in his act, in all ways he uses this diplomacy. So what he is telling, behold the great army of sons of Pandu, so expertly arranged by your intelligent disciple, the son of Drupada. So two things he has used here to address his diplomacy, to show his diplomacy, showing by these two things. One thing is, just like, suppose somebody says India-Pakistan war is happening, or anything related to India-Pakistan, everyone becomes very excited. Everyone's attention goes there immediately. Same way, when he approached Dronacharya, he uses the son of Drupada. Who is son of Drupada? Drishtadyumna. He has not directly used Drishtadyumna. He has used son of Drupada. Recently, some 10-15 years back, there was an attack, Mumbai attack, 26/11. So in that attack, this Taj Hotel was very heavily afflicted. It was very heavily afflicted. So what happened? This when the repair maintenance of Taj was about to happen, so Ratan Tata, he got various tenders, and one of the tender which was claiming the lowest bid, that company was from Pakistan. That company was from Pakistan. So he didn't accept that tender, even though they assured best of the quality work, best of the things they promised, best of the prices they promised, everything was promised, best of the things. But they didn't deliver. He didn't accept because Pakistan, because these terrorists were also from Pakistan. So same way, Drupada name was used by Duryodhana, because when this Dronacharya and Drupada, they were childhood friends, and Drupada accepted Dronacharya as a friend. You are my friend, and everything which is mine is yours. Like that, he shared to Drupada. So Dronacharya, when he grown up, and this Draupad, he grown up, he took charge of kingdom. Dronacharya was very poor economically, financially, he was very poor. So he approaches Draupad Maharaj and reminds him that, see, we are childhood friends, and you have promised what is yours is mine, and what is mine is yours, and you will share equally. So I just want some cows for my sustenance. So Drupada, he says, friendship is always between the equals. Friendship cannot happen between poor and rich. It is always between equals. And I don't remember Like that, he tells to Dronacharya, insulted Dronacharya. And in retaliation, Dronacharya, he asked his Dakshina from the Pandavas and Kauravas is to defeat and get the Draupada back. Capture him and get him to Dronacharya. That is the Dakshina that Dronacharya asks from the Kauravas and Pandavas. So this Arjuna, he brings back the Draupada. He catch hold of Draupada and brings him to Dronacharya. So Dronacharya, he tells, now I am going to give you the kingdom. You take kingdom and enjoy. Draupada, he felt very insulted and he performed a yajna, and out of that Ashwathama appeared. And for what purpose he performed that yajna? To get a son who can kill the Dronacharya. So everyone was very well aware, Dronacharya was very well aware that this Ashwathama is born to kill me. But still, Drishtadyumna has born to kill me. Ashwathama, his own son, Dronacharya's son, Drishtadyumna has born to kill me. So, still, Dronacharya, he being a perfect Brahmana, he gave entire military science to the Drishtadyumna. He teaches everything without any partiality. He taught him everything. So that is the quality of a Brahmana. Just like during Prabhupada's time, even there is a risk of their own life, Brahmana execute their duties in spite of all the factors. So same way, this Dronacharya did. Just like during Prabhupada time, Prabhupada, some of few of his disciples, he instructed to go there and preach, give this message of Bhagavad Gita in the Pakistan. And they went. And after a few days, there was no communication for weeks together. And there was a war going on between India and Pakistan that time. But still they executed their duty. And they were saved. They came back to India. So that is the very important quality of a Brahmana. Even though it is risking his own life, he will do his duties. That is the quality. And another thing Duryodhana is pointing out is, it is your disciple. How very intelligently your disciple is mentioning. You have trained him. See, like that he is telling him, pointing him, that see, you have trained him, your disciple, and now he is fighting against you. So he is doing this to arouse the anger, instigate, भड़का रहा है द्रोणाचार्य को. दुर्योधना जो है भड़का रहे हैं द्रोणाचार्य को to fight, to get that anger to fight, so that he don't have that soft corner for the Pandavas. Now Duryodhana, he is in the next verse, 4th verse, he is this Drishtadyumna is not very important for the Dronacharya or for the entire army. But there are many other Marathas, many other fighters who can be a stumbling block for the Bhima and Arjuna. And who are those? Those are addressed as a son of Drupada, is Drishtadyumna, Bhima, Arjuna. And these rest all are as great as Arjuna and Bhima. Who are they? Duryodhana, Virata, Drupada, Drishtaketu, Chiketina, Kashiraja, Purujit, Kunti Bhoja, Shaibya, Yuddhamanyu, Uttamoja. And son of Draupadi and son of Subhadra. Son of Subhadra is Abhimanyu. So these are the 16 various warriors which was mentioned by Duryodhana, who are going to fight from the side of Pandavas. So Duryodhana, he was very surprised to see that in a short span they have accumulated such a vast army. How much army? Army which is 7 Akshohini Sena. Duryodhana could accumulate 11 Akshohini Sena. And these Pandavas, they have accumulated 7 Akshohini Senas with great Marathis. So he was very surprised, and in that surprise and shock, he approaches Dronacharya and addressed him very diplomatically. Now somebody may say, all these warriors are okay. We have we have to chant Hare Krishna mantra or read Bhagavad Gita. Why to take these names of warriors? Very nice. Prabhupada shares that these warriors, they are not ordinary warriors. They are the warriors related to Krishna. They have a relationship with Krishna. Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yukta Vairagyam Uchita. They are related Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe, which the thing which is Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe, the thing which is not related, that thing we connect with Krishna, Krishna Sambandha, connect with Krishna, that Vairagya, that renunciation is the Uchchata, is the topmost. So when we take this warrior's name, actually these are all connected with Krishna. So ultimately Krishna is also glorified. So here Duryodhana, he start after calculating the opposite side military force, how much they have, he starts seeing his own military or his own army, who all are there. Just like a politician or in a competition, first is you see the opponent, how strong is your opponent. So this Duryodhana is also estimating his own army. So what he estimates, who all he mentions. First he mentions is Dronacharya, you yourself, he mentions. Then he mentions Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Ashwathama, Vikarna, Bhuvishrava. So very interesting thing here is why he is mentioning Vikarna. All others are Maharathis. Maharathis means they are great warriors. They can at a time they can fight with thousands of rathas. So why he is mentioning Vikarna, which is not a Marathi? He mentions Vikarna because he is the one who protested in the assembly when Draupadi was getting insulted. So what Duryodhana is doing, he is pointing out that the person who protested, Vikarna, is also now my side. He is fighting for me. He is fighting for me, Tattva Jivitaha, for my sake. Next, Duryodhana, what he is telling? He is telling, in my party, everyone is ready to lay down their life for my sake. Tattva Jivitaha. Arthe, Mad Arthe Tattva Jivita. Mad means mine. Arthe means for my sake. Tattva Jivita, they are ready to give up their life. So here one of the thing that this Duryodhana has pointed out is they are destined to die, which is one of the sign of victory that Duryodhana has claimed or shared. What he is telling, they are ready to die for me. They are going to die for my sake. So he is making that prophecy. They are going to die for my sake. Now, in the 10th verse, also like what finally Duryodhana he shares, very interesting verse it is. He is mentioning aparyaptam. I'll share the verse. So here he is mentioning aparyaptam tad asmakam balam bhishma birakshitam paryaptam tam idam etesham balam bhima birakshitam. Our strength is immeasurable and we are perfectly protected by grandfather Bhishma, whereas the strength of Pandavas carefully protected by Bhima, which is limited. So, Paryaptam or Aparyaptam has two meanings. One is immeasurable, another is insufficient. So, how this Duryodhana he is pointing out to Dronacharya that our strength is insufficient. How diplomatically he is pointing out is he is addressing Bhishma, who has a soft corner, soft heart for the Pandavas. Even though he is our side, he is going to fight on our behalf, but still his heart is there for the Pandavas. It means it is not sufficient. He has not sufficient anger, whereas the anger of the Bhima is paryapt, is sufficient to fight. So very nicely he is pointing out Bhima, this Dronacharya, that Bhishma, even though he is our side, his heart is there for the Pandavas, which makes it insufficient. Even though our army is more, he says address in Mahabharata it is mentioned, he addresses as our army is almost twice. But he is saying aparyapt, it is not sufficient because Bhishma has a soft corner for the Pandavas, whereas Bhima, who has taken vow to kill Duryodhana, break his janga, his thigh, his anger is sufficient. His anger is paryaptam. He is addressing in that way. And very important thing also he is telling, because Duryodhana was always envious of this Bhima. Because the Bhima is the one who is the only one who can kill Duryodhana, who is equal in power, who can kill Duryodhana, and he has taken vow also. He has taken the vow also kill. So, in the next verse, Duryodhana, he is telling, just now he mentioned that Bhishma, he is immeasurable, our strength is also immeasurable. In that way, he is addressing next verse itself, so that not everybody should feel bad that they are not respected. He has glorified Bhishma in that way. He is addressing this Bhishma, all of you should protect. Our victory depends completely upon Bhishma. He has become old. Now all of you should give the protection at your position. Stay at your position and give protection to Bhishma. In that way, he is addressing. So even though this Duryodhana, he made all the estimation perfectly. Estimation, observation of Pandava's army as well as his own army. But he did a very big mistake. Anyone would like to share what big mistake he has done?
Krishna.
Hmm?
He did not count it in the Krishnas.
He did not counted Krishna. In fact, when Krishna he announced that I am not going to fight, I will not take up the weapon. Duryodhana and Arjuna, both of them, they went and approached Krishna to get the alliance. So Duryodhana wanted the army of Krishna, Narayani Sena, which cannot be defeated. Whereas Arjuna, he wanted Krishna. From the beginning, he wanted Krishna. And when he went, all the Pandavas, they were waiting for Arjuna. And they were very anxious. Oh, what this Arjuna will ask. Yudhishthira Maharaj was like, he is a very young, he may not take some wrong decision. What will happen to us if he doesn't ask Krishna? So he was very anxious. So this is the difference between a devotee and a person who is materialistic. A devotee always want the Lord. Devotee always want the protection of Krishna. Whereas a materialistic person, he always calculate his own material abilities, his own material gains, his wealth, his bank balance, his relatives, his property, his own strength, intelligence. All these things they count. Just like, for an example, Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson wanted to live for 150 years, and he made all the arrangements, all the medical facility, everything was there. Expert doctors was there, always with him 24/7. Always a team of doctor was there. Everything was there. If suppose heart attack is there, there is a facility to operate, to transplant any organ. Everything was taken care. But what happened? At the age of 50, he died. At the age of 50, he died. Recently, there was an epidemic which hit the entire world. Corona. Best of the doctors was there. People are having, so much wealth, money, but still they are dying out of oxygen, lack of oxygen. So even though we may have best of the material ability, best of the material capacity, just like Duryodhana, these Bhishma, Drona, they are such a powerful warriors. Arjuna is nothing in front of them. He is nothing in front of them. He is calculating very perfectly. What he is making mistake, he is not counting Krishna. Whereas Arjuna, what his thinking is, how I can kill all these people. They are my own relatives. I cannot kill. And at the end, what he is telling, Krishna, whatever you are going to tell, I am going to do. Whatever you say, I'll do. He is telling. Whereas this Duryodhana, what he is telling, everyone is going to lay down their life for my sake. Yeah. So people in general, materialistic people, how they think, everything is for my pleasure. Whereas Arjuna, what he is seeing, how I can satisfy Krishna. Krishna want me to fight, I'll fight. Sam Sadyam Haritoshanam. That is the difference between a devotee and a materialistic person. materialistic person who calculates all his strength, everything, but he neglects Krishna. Whereas devotee are fully dependent upon Krishna and always want to satisfy Krishna. Always want to satisfy Krishna. That is very important here. How Duryodhana is analyzing the army or observing the army is completely materialistic. He's seeing all the Marathis and everything, but he's forgetting about Krishna, not considering Krishna at all. So, in our life, we should be always, in whatever circumstances it may be, always try to develop the dependency upon Krishna. Always we should try to develop that dependency upon Krishna. That is the only thing which can save us. Just like Arjuna, he cannot stand in front of this Bhishma, Drona. He has no such strength. But when he depended upon Krishna, Krishna gave him an intelligence, gave him the empowerment, and he was saved. And he won the battle because Krishna wanted. Same way when we do, just like we are constructing a tallest temple in Vrindavan, even though we don't have capacity, ability to construct such a huge temple, but when we depend upon Krishna, he gives the strength. He make the arrangements by which it can happen. But what we have to do, we have to execute our duty. We have to execute our duty. That will save us, that will help us to depend upon Krishna, to attain success in our life. That will help us. This is what Sanjay is mentioning at the end of Bhagavad Gita. What he is saying, Yad Yad is telling, I'll open that verse. Very nice verse it is. Yatra Yogeshwaro Krishna, Yatra Partho Dhanurdhara, Tatra Shriya Vijayo Burtir, Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. Wherever there is Krishna, the master of all the mystics, and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will also be certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. So wherever there is a Krishna, there is a Arjuna, there will be victory, Shriya, Vijaya, everything will be there. So whenever we as a devotee, we try to keep Krishna, everything will be there. Shriya, Vijaya, everything will be there with us always. So that is very important thing to learn from this part or this section of Bhagavad Gita. So anyone has any question, anything you would like to share, comment? So we'll end here. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai.